The president has checked in to Walter Reed Medical Center. I'm Christina Ruffini outside the gates in Bethesda, Maryland, with the latest on the president's coronavirus diagnosis.
Plus, a month out from Election Day, and Montanans are already casting their ballots. Early voting is underway. And later, the first Friday in October features some big football games. We have the highlights.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Thanks for making MTN a part of your Friday night. I'm Tim McGonigal. President Trump was taken to the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center today, less than a day after he announced that he and the First Lady tested positive for COVID-19. CBS News correspondent Christina Ruffini has more from the hospital in Bethesda, Maryland.
President Trump was flown from the White House to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center on Friday to be treated for the coronavirus. The White House says the president will spend the next few days there out of an abundance of caution. Before he left the White House, the 74-year-old president tweeted a brief video statement.
I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well.
CBS News has learned President Trump is experiencing mild symptoms, including a low-grade fever. The president did not go to the emergency room here at Walter Reed, but went instead directly to the presidential suite. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows spoke to reporters earlier in the day.
He continues to be not only in good spirits, but very energetic.
The president's doctor says he is fatigued and has been given a Regeneron antibody cocktail. Campaigning in Michigan, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, who has tested negative since the news broke, offered prayers and well wishes.
The news is a reminder that we as a nation need to do better in dealing with this pandemic.
During the first debate Tuesday, Biden and the president shared the stage for 90 minutes. While the president stays at the medical center, his COVID-19 infection has raised questions of who else might have been exposed. After presidential aide Hope Hicks tested positive on Wednesday, White House officials deemed it safe for President Trump to attend a fundraiser in New Jersey on Thursday. Christina Ruffini, CBS News, Bethesda, Maryland.
Now to the latest numbers in Montana. The state reported 360 new cases today. The death toll has risen to 187. Of the more than 14,000 cases, nearly 9,800 have recovered. Montana has set new single-day records for COVID-19 cases multiple times in just the last week. Amid rising cases, canceled sporting events, and even national attention, our Matt Holzapfel sat down with the Cascade City County Health Officer Tricia Gardner to talk about the state of COVID-19 in Montana.
October began the same way September ended in Montana, with COVID-19 case numbers topping 300 multiple days in a row. Cascade City County Health Officer Tricia Gardner said the rising numbers can partially be attributed to exponential growth of the virus, but also to many people not taking it seriously.
There are many people not taking this seriously and not playing their part in mitigating the spread of this virus.
Gardner says the recent spike can also be traced back to Labor Day get-togethers and communal outbreaks, like the one at the Cascade County Detention Center. Despite that, she doesn't think schools need to make a big adjustment just yet.
The most important thing that we need to remember is a lot of these cases are originating from settings outside of school and work facilities. It's when people are letting down their guard, becoming a little bit more relaxed.
On September 30th, White House Coronavirus Task Force Response Coordinator Dr. Deborah Birx told MTN that she was concerned about the spread of coronavirus in Montana.
That doesn't surprise me that they have focused on that. Early on in this pandemic, we implemented some very strict rules and we've loosened those up.
Early Friday afternoon, the Cascade County Commission voted to approve 2 contracts, which will further relationships between the Health Department and Alluvian Health and Great Falls Public Schools, respectively. One will provide the CCHD with more staff when needed. The other will appoint deputy public health officials within the school district, which will assist with contact identification, notification, and quarantine. In Great Falls, Matt Holzapfel, MTN News.
As flu season approaches, the Cascade City County Health Department is also warning of the dangers of overcrowding hospitals. We reported earlier this week that Benefice Health Systems is currently operating at 115% capacity with 7 coronavirus patients in intensive care. As cases rise, some healthcare workers are concerned about the hospital's visitation policies. Benefice closed to most visitors on March 30th, with few exceptions for the birth center, the NICU, and hospice. It reopened on June 25th with restrictions. The hospital is now under a limited visitation policy, but the new rules have some employees concerned. A Benefice employee reached out to MTN News and said leaders haven't responded to concerns about limiting visitation again, and guests don't often wear masks. Hospital leaders say they've come up with the best option given the circumstances. The amount of long-term care patients is much larger at Benefice than at other healthcare facilities in Great Falls. When it comes to mask wearing, they say it's difficult to enforce.
We've created a just culture within our own institution. So for our own employees who violate that policy, there's a stepwise approach in regards to, making sure that they conform with those policies. For our patients and their family members, it's obviously just the process of reminding them what is at stake.
Both Benefice and the Great Falls Clinic require mask wearing for most patients, staff, and visitors. In Lewis and Clark County, a fire destroyed a home in East Helena this afternoon. The fire broke out around 3 in the afternoon near a mobile home community south of Highway 12. East Valley fire crews had to close a portion of Smelter Road while they worked the blaze for about 2 hours. The resident is safe. They were away from the home at the time of the fire, but unfortunately 3 dogs and 2 cats were in the home and did not survive. East Valley Fire Captain says the cause of the fire is unknown, but believes electrical wiring could be involved. A father and son witnessed the flames in time to quickly evacuate.
I was driving in, pulling to the driveway, then I seen the fire coming out from that way, so I ran in my house right here, and I told everybody to get y'all stuff and let's go, because it was blazing up. I called the landlord and told her the fire was coming. Honestly, I was thinking if this fire was to blow up everything out here, we'd be screwed if it hit a propane tank. That's what I was thinking.
Firefighters cleared the fire fast. There was no damage to nearby structures. They put water away on the nearby propane tank, clearing it from the fire. Well, it's shaping up to be a nice first weekend of October, and here with the preview is MTN's Elizabeth Copeland.
High pressure been the story all week, and that's not going to change this weekend as we expect more dry conditions and sunshine in the forecast. We had a few clouds go through the northeast corner, but that didn't keep out the heat, actually hitting that peak heating time right before those clouds moved through. So just noticing them on the horizon tonight. Still pretty bright out there as that the moon looks nearly full. It was full last night, but it's still bright and beautiful on the north central horizon. We're at 58 right now through most of the area, in the low 60s otherwise. So it was a very warm day, but now that sun is set, and we're going to see temperatures drop pretty quickly those overnight hours. So out there across our Opportunity Bank ICAM in the capital city, the street lights have come on. If you're heading out for an evening walk with the dog around the block, maybe grabbing the extra jacket, just because it's going to be a little chilly, and it's going to get chilly fast again now that the sun has set. So overall, tonight we're going down to the mid to upper 30s and some low 40s in the forecast. Clear through most of our area. Lots of sunshine through the weekend, and we have more on our windy conditions on Sunday coming up.
Ahead, bouncing back, a recycling program in Lewistown is taking full advantage of its second chance.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. The first votes in Montana's general election have already been cast. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian reports on the start of the early voting period and what role national trends could play on voting in the state.
Counties across Montana have officially opened in-person early voting on Friday. In Lewis and Clark County, several dozen people have already been through to get their ballots in. Lewis and Clark County, along with 44 other counties in Montana, has switched to a mail ballot election in response to COVID-19. That means ballots will be sent out to all active registered voters next Friday. However, the governor's directive that allowed counties to use mail ballots also required that they offer an in-person voting option. Many of those voting Friday in Lewis and Clark County will be out of town when the ballots are mailed out. Election officials say mail ballots and early voting both help achieve a goal, limiting the rush of people coming in to vote on Election Day. Jeremy Johnson, an associate professor of political science at Carroll College, says he expects more Montanans than ever to vote early.
Even before COVID, we've seen in each election cycle, we see more and more people voting early. And it will almost certainly be a record number this year again, particularly with COVID, and particularly as people just get comfortable with the early voting options in Montana.
The start of voting also comes as the news that President Donald Trump tested positive for COVID-19 has dominated the national discussion. Johnson says we'll have to wait and see how this story develops in the coming weeks, but there's reason to believe it might not make much difference.
One thing about the Trump presidency, though, is just how stable polling is.
Election officials say if someone wants to vote in person before mail ballots go out next week, their mail ballots will be voided. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Well, some residents in central Montana once again have a convenient way to recycle some of their plastic. The Recycle Our Waste Lewistown program has restarted. It started 8 years ago, but it had to shut down in August because the recycling company that was taking the plastic the program collected shut down. Knowing how much the program means to the area, the program manager found another company to take some of the plastic so the program could restart. She says each month around 1 ton of plastic is collected from residents and recycled.
The message is we have an incredible community here. When a community comes together with a common purpose and feel that it's so important to the environment that we do what we can. And this is our little part of the world, and we can impact it in our own way.
And to find out how you can help the program, you can read this story on our website.
A few more beautiful sunsets in store for us across the next few days, but what does that mean for daytime temperatures? We'll have more on weekend forecasts coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Elizabeth Copeland.
Welcome back on this Friday evening. We made it through another work week. We're getting ready for the weekend plans, maybe packing up, going camping on the Saturday afternoon, Sunday evening time frame. But the good news is it's going to be very warm this weekend, and we're not going to see too much rain to ruin the outdoor plans. That does impact our drought monitor, which we'll review here in just a second. But overall, the conditions for the first couple of days of October have been very warm and very sunny. Some things we did not see last year as a historic snowstorm was still occurring right around that end of September, 1st of October mark. So right now out there, again, no snow on the ground really in lower elevations at all. On the very peaks, you might see just a very thin layer of snow. Otherwise, we are looking very dry, very late spring-like as even just a few clouds move across the northeast corner. But right now, of our U.S. Bank iCam, it is 57 degrees after a beautiful blue day out there across the Great Falls area. The dew point very low, 36 degrees. So that's a good indicator that that dry air has still moved in and will continue to kind of settle across the area for the next few days, and the visibility a clear 10 miles. The only thing we've been seeing, though, if you look back here, yeah, you see some blue sky, but there's a little haze on the horizon. That wasn't unexpected. We did expect some of that shift in that high pressure to bring in some wildfire smoke from Washington, but overall, no major impacts to our air quality. Now, Malta, the only area across the High Line saying unhealthy for sensitive groups. The rest of us all green as a go. Good air quality, except for in the southwest corner of the state. Butte, Dillon, and Hamilton all seeing moderate air quality. Now, this could fluctuate between green and yellow for the next few days or so, but again, major impacts like we saw 2 weeks ago, not expected in our forecast. So high pressure is the dominant story of the weather for the last few days. It's going to be through the weekend as well. Very sunny skies, dry air still settles in on top of us. Yeah, we could see a little haze in the horizon on Saturday as well, as we still have this ridge kind of set up with high pressure starting to move in, and then that upper air starting to move in from Washington, or continuing to move in from Washington really, for mostly north central Montana. But heading into Sunday, we kind of get a shift in that, a little bit more of that zonal flow-ish kind of coming in from the northwest corner. So we will see some breezy conditions during the Sunday period start to pick up. So while we are seeing wildfire smoke from other parts of the state, well, our fire concerns of our own are not done just yet. Our drought monitor now expanding quite a bit across all of the state, even severe drought across the northeast corner, while the rest of us are seeing dry to moderate conditions for drought. So this dry air not really helping our drought monitor very much and actually increasing that drought throughout the area. And our own fire danger increases on Sunday as well. So 20-30 mile per hour gusts right across the high line down north central Montana. That wind picks up on Sunday. Very dry air is here to stay. So we do have a fire weather watch on Sunday you need to be aware of, especially if you are going camping, maybe building the campfire. Maybe not a great day to do that on Sunday afternoon. So for our 7-day forecast, we're not done with that dry air or heat either. Well, Sunday is breezy and we hit 80 degrees in Great Falls. We hit 73 on Monday. Lots of sunny skies in the forecast with those upper 70s even for north central Montana. There's a good chance we hit a few 80s later on next week as well across the high line. So we see that high pressure really just taking hold through the weekend into next week. A little breezy on Sunday in Helena as well. 70 on Monday afternoon. So we have a lot more of that sunshine. Get out there and see the leaves changing across north central northeast Montana as we hold steady in the mid 70s through the capital city.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Some big games at the AA level and some excitement among the 6- and 8-man ranks. Friday night football highlights are coming up next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, COVID concerns caused one of the teams in our area to watch from the sidelines. Tonight's scheduled Great Falls High homecoming game against Belgrade was canceled, but there's still plenty of action to bring your way. We kick things off with CMR on the road in Bozeman.
It's homecoming night at Van Winkle Stadium as the 2019 state champions Bozeman Hawks look to get their third straight win as they take on CMR, who is 1-2. Let's get to those highlights. Hawks just amped to play this one with the return of MSU commit Kenneth Iden, who has been out all year with an injury. They'd start off hot as less than 2 minutes into the game, senior quarterback Jordan Jones finds Tucker McBeth over the middle, who would run this one all the way into the end zone. Hawks jump out 7-0. A few minutes later, Jones strikes again as he rolls out to his left and finds Jace Appleby in the end zone. Bozeman up 14-0. Still in the first, remind me if you've heard this one before. Jones finds his target McBeth in the end zone, who somehow split 3 defenders. Hawks up 21-0. Those two connected for 4 touchdowns in the first half. Brooks Talbot seals this one with a short rushing touchdown to put the Hawks up 42-0 after the extra point. They jumped out to a 49-0 halftime lead and moved to 3-1 on the season. And here is your final score. In Bozeman, John Miller, MTN Sports.
Helena Capital got their first win of the season right here at home last Friday night against the Kalispell Flathead Braves. But if they're looking to get win number 2 on the year, they're first going to have to go through the Butte Bulldogs.
We'll start things off in the first quarter with Capital moving the ball nicely here. Hand off to Tegan Cozy, who's going to fight his way across the goal line for the first touchdown of the night. Bruins go up 7-0. All quiet until the second quarter when Capital finds itself in a familiar place. So they'll do a familiar thing and a handoff to Cozy, who gets another touchdown. They'll miss that extra point but still lead 13-0. And just when it looks like the Bruin offense can't be stopped, Matt Burton airs this pass out in an attempt to Anthony Bouchard, but Christian Hansen has other ideas. And he is not done, folks. Capital with the field goal attempt here. And Hansen with the block, scoop, and score. Butte's on the board. Here's your final score from Vigilante. In Helena, Andy Curtis, MTN Sports.
With wins over Cascade and Sims already this season, the Shelby Coyotes can clinch a sub-conference title with a victory over CJI tonight.
The Highline Hawks made the first game-changing play. Taylor Parsons will be picked off by Kyle Harmon, and CJI is in business. Ensuing possession, though, Hawks forced to punt. Cameron Brusvin with the block, the scoop, and the score. How about 8-0 Coyotes? And they wouldn't stop there. Here's more from Brusvin. He had a heck of a day. In for a short touchdown. How about 21-0? Another punt. Tabris Correa fielding it, reverses field, and throws on the afterburners. This return goes to the house, 35-0 in the first quarter. That starts the running clock, but the Hawks would respond. Harmon to Jordan Bender for the touchdown, 35-6, but Shelby would answer the other way all night. Bryce Lee finds his way in from short, 49-6 at halftime, and the Coyotes walk away with a comfortable victory. Here's a look at your final score to clinch the top seed in the 8-man North Beast Subconference. Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
Now that the calendar's flipped to October, it's the time of year where the high school football standings really start to matter. And here in Sunburst, the hometown Refiners are looking to avoid 2 losses in a row. Meanwhile, Big Sandy's paying a visit. They're looking to stay ahead of the pack in the 6-man North. First quarter, Big Sandy starting with the ball, and they go to their horse. Cade Struts on the pitch. No one gets a hand on him. 40 yards to the house, and the Pioneers have an early 6-0 lead. Next Pioneer possession. Struts, he can throw a little bit too. Against the grain, up high to Parker Prue. Skips a tackle, he's in to score. Big Sandy's up 12-0. They would eventually go up 18-0, but here's Sunburst. Kate Hansen finds Stanley Jarvis over the middle. Foot race to the corner. Struts pushes him out at the 1-yard line. Sunburst from the 1 now. Cole Johnson, the big man with the slick one-handed grab. This was a close game at halftime. Here's a look at your final. In Sunburst, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
And for scores, highlights, and more from around the state, including the latest from AA State Golf in Missoula and State A Golf in Butte, you can head on over to montanasports.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
70s in the forecast for Saturday in Great Falls. A little breezy on Sunday. A fire weather watch in effect for the Rocky Mountain front and north central Montana. And then we're going to see those 70s remain in the forecast. Very dry air sticks around as we hit 75 on Sunday. Nothing but sunshine in the forecast for the capital city. We'll hold steady in the mid-70s through Friday.
Well, before we go, you don't have to be a NASA scientist to help discover new planets. NASA has launched a website called Planet Patrol, where members of the public can collaborate with astronomers to hunt for new worlds. They'll be sorting through images collected by NASA's Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, or TESS. Over the course of a year, TESS captures hundreds of thousands of snapshots, but it's too many for scientists to examine without help, and computers sometimes fail to determine potential planets from imposters. That's where the volunteers come in. They will answer questionnaires as they sift through images to help researchers narrow down the list of potential planets. Very cool. That's all the time we have. We hope you have a great night. Join the weekend crew tomorrow. Have a great night.